Joan McKay was born and raised in Exeter, and she's lived in the Cornhusker State her entire life. And even with all of this, she says she can't learn enough about this state. Lance Schwartz has the story.
Well, I started following my son playing football in college, and that took me to different places. And
that was 25 years ago when Joan McKay started traveling to Nemaha County to watch her son compete at Peru State College.
And then I'd stop and see other things, and that's kind of how I think I got started, getting in the car and going for little jaunts.
And when she's been on her jaunts, Joan has always enjoyed taking pictures, and more pictures.
It is fun. I love it.
And then when she returns home, Joan is very meticulous in the details of the very comprehensive history of her travels.
And this is my library where I store my books and my memories. I store them in books by counties.
And I was very impressed with Joan's descriptions of each town's history.
Yes, this is fun because you visit so many places and then you get them all mixed up. So if you take pictures, especially for me, I can remember.
Joan says her expeditions have taken her to nearly 50 of Nebraska's 93 counties, and she is especially fond of small towns like the one she grew up in.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting, and like I say, I wish these little towns could talk and tell me their stories, because they would all have stories.
And when the towns don't talk to her, she works to dig up the local history.
This is my Saline County book.
Joan has used a few different books that have helped her in discovering and compiling history of her travels. One of her favorites is called Perky's Nebraska Place Names.
I can look up where each town is in which county.
This 1963 graduate of Exeter High School has never seemed to quench her thirst for seeing and knowing more about Nebraska.
I like to get the signs as you go in, but
Joan was married to Roger for 19 years, and after he passed away in 1987 and her 3 kids moved away from home, she needed a fun way to keep herself busy.
I love the old buildings. Some of them are just so beautifully made. They just don't make them like that anymore.
Joan has a close friend in York that joins her on some of her jaunts, but more often than not, Joan rides solo as she crisscrosses the state on her never-ending quest for Nebraska knowledge.
Okay, Lance, I'm off for my next jaunt. See you around Nebraska.
I'm Lance Schwartz, 1011 Now.
What a traveler. Joan says she just took a trip to Gage in Johnson County, and she says the highlight for her was the St. Mary's Church, and she hopes to head west this fall and explore the McCook area. Coming